Assalamualaikum and salam satu Malaysia. Meet again in Hello Malaysia this evening with me Nur Siti Shazwana binti Abdul Rahim as the host of the program today. So due to the sharp increase in COVID-19 cases in Malaysia, every day is getting higher, which has clearly forced the government to close various economic sectors temporarily. Frontliners who continue to treat COVID-19 patients, school also had to be closed and online learning used as well as police guarding state borders to prevent cross-state activities to combat the COVID-19 virus. So this had a significant impact from numerous perspectives in order to restore the situation, and we are rising quickly to be a better Malaysia, and this is an opportunity to assess the socio-economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic issue. So for your information, COVID-19 has so far recorded more than 240 million cases and nearly 5 million deaths around the world. In other situations, we should get a vaccine to prevent COVID-19 infection from spreading further. So the main topic we want to discuss today is the impact of COVID-19 on the socio-economy of Malaysia. We, together with 5 our panelists on this evening, to share some of their experiences and opinions regarding this issue. So firstly, without wasting any more time, let me introduce Assistant Commissioner Nur Farisa Natasha binti Muhammad Suhaizi, who is the Chief Police Officer of Petaling Jaya. Welcome to Hello Malaysia, Ms. Farisa.
Hello, Ms. Shazwana. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this discussion.
Welcome, and we also have a guest from Kuala Lumpur Hospital, Dr. Nurain Izzati binti Azhar, who is a respiratory specialist. So, how are you, Dr. Nurain Izzati?
Hi, I'm fine and good, Ms. Shazwana.
Good to hear that. Apart from that, do not miss to introduce Ms. Nur Shazwani binti Rusdi, who is an entrepreneur and business owner of the Listen Diram Berhad, which is a successful franchise company in Malaysia. And nice to meet you, Ms. Shazwani. So, how many branches does your company have across the state, Ms. Shazwani?
Nice to meet you, and thank you, Ms. Shazwana. As for now, I can say that our company has more than 50 branches inside and outside Malaysia.
Wow, congratulations for your achievement, Ms. Shazwani. So we'll proceed to the next guest, which is Ms. Nur Farah Sharina Izzati binti Zamani, who is a teacher from Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Syed Iskandar. So how are you, Ms. Sharina?
Hi, Ms. Shazwana. I'm good, and I'm very excited to be invited to attend this talk show.
Wow, I really want to express my gratitude for your involvement today. In addition, we also have another last guest, Ms. Nur Shahira binti Rosti, who is a student from Management and Science University, taking diploma in management. So I heard that you just achieved a Dean's Award on top of your success, Ms. Shahira. I want to express my big congratulations for your achievement, Ms. Shahira.
Thank you for your compliment, Ms. Shazwana. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, and nice to meet all of you, and hope all of the panelists today always stay healthy along with your beloved family, and always take care and adhere to the SOP to prevent COVID-19 transmission, okay? So, so for the first session, I would like to know about the situation before the pandemic, Ms. Sharina. Like, how were your condition as a teacher before COVID-19? And how you worked before this pandemic happened in our country? Ms. Sharina?
All right, thanks for asking me that question to me, Ms. Shazwana. Well, as all of us aware that as a teacher, it's our responsibility and priority to always ensure the continuity of the educational learning for our students, especially before this pandemic 19 COVID occurs.
Definitely before this COVID-19 outbreak happened, we knew that the teachers play an important role in guiding the student to understand what they needed to learn, hence becoming a good student.
Yes, that's true. Now back to your question that you have asked me before.
Okay, yes, please, Ms. Sharina, you may continue.
Oh, but before we, sorry to interrupt you, but before we proceed, right, I would like to ask what kind of skincare that you were using because your facial skin looks so smooth and very pretty. I feel so jealous every time I look at your face.
Thank you for your compliment, Miss Sharina. It is secret till now, but I will tell you my secret just right after the show ended, okay?
Sure, Miss Shazana, I will be waiting then. So, for me as a teacher, there are not much of difference in the way of teaching my student. But I do admit that before this, it's quite difficult to teach them now compared than before because before the pandemic happened, all of the teachers, such as primary school teachers, secondary school teacher, and lecturer, have taught all of the students in the physical classes. And it can help us as a teacher to know either that our student fully understand or not in the way of we teaching them. But now, mostly all the teachers from different level, no matter whether from the kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, or maybe university, have been teaching all of the students through the online classes, which we as a teacher will provide the link for the students to join the class session like Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and many more.
I see. I believe it is very challenging for teachers and lecturers out there. So, what about you, Ms. Shahira? How were your schedule as a student before COVID-19 pandemic happened? Like, how do you manage your studies and your time before this pandemic happened in Malaysia?
As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has become a global health issue and has had a major impact on education system in the country now. I used to go to physical classes and make a schedule for managing my time to go to campus, run errands, homework, when to eat, and so on. Never had thought that our country will hit the most COVID-19 cases, but sadly, not long after a few months, MCO started. It's sad because I was planning to have a blast during my university years. For example, activities that I wanted to participate before I entered is hiking, early morning Zumba, and more. Knowing that my sister had a blast during her time in university, seeing her go to other states due to assignments and had the opportunity to stay in a hotel with her friends and join events that management and science university held, for example, visiting orphanage, community service, and more. It really makes me want to do something to make COVID-19 end faster.
Yeah, I think all of the students that were affected by COVID-19 pandemic will really strongly agree with your statement. And in your opinion, do you prefer studying online or physically, Miss Shahira?
I would prefer studying online, Miss Shazwana. This is just my personal reason. Is because I don't want to trouble my family to send me to campus.
I see. So there are also students who enjoy the online class.
Yes, very much.
Okay, so continuing for the next session, which is the reaction and the plan when the COVID-19 attack. On to the next guest for today. Hello, Miss Izati. You were one of the frontliners, right? So, as a doctor, during the peak of this COVID-19 virus that hit Malaysia, what was the doctor's reaction that are said to treat the patient of COVID-19? Like, would they seem determined? Dr. Izati?
Hi, Ms. Shazwana. So
Hello.
the doctors are of course overwhelmed and worried with the amount of COVID-19 patients overflowing in the emergency room day by day. So we knew that we have to come up with a solid plan in order to control the flow of these COVID-19 patients before it gets any worse.
Yeah, I was very eager to know about what are the plans that the doctors came up with to fight this COVID-19 virus, Dr. Izati.
At first, we felt very anxious, but we eventually came up with a plan that can control the overflowing patients of COVID-19 virus that has been tested positive, that had us to quarantine them in a separate section with the frontliners wearing a full PPE in the emergency room in order to avoid contact with the non-positive COVID-19 patients. This is so that they wouldn't get infected. And we also encourage them to take the COVID-19 vaccine that has been given by our government to help reducing the risk of getting a worse symptom of the COVID-19 virus that are fatal, especially to the elderly and those who have chronic disease.
Yeah, that must be a lot of work to do to help all those patients. So the doctors must work so hard to make sure that their patients are in good condition. So what about you, Chief Farisa, as a police officer? What was your reaction when the COVID-19 started to attack our country?
Well, of course, the attack of COVID-19 to our country was actually a very shocking and terrifying news for all of us to adapt, especially when we knew what exactly can COVID-19 do to us. The police department literally turned out very busy, and I'm not gonna lie that it was actually out of control. When the first movement control order, which is the MCO, announced, we had to do a lot of roadblock like almost everywhere. But also there are some people who are very stubborn and they just don't want to listen to the order, and they have the audacity to go out without any important reason. So me myself, as the representative of all police officer, I had to admit that we were all actually were very scared because we were exposed to the virus. Not only we were afraid that the virus might attack us, but we were also afraid that we might be the one who brings the virus to our loved ones at home. So I believe that nobody could ever bear to be the one who brings the virus to their family.
Yeah, of course, we will try our best to protect our family from this virus, especially for police officer who protects our country. So they must want to protect their family too.
Yes, absolutely, Miss Fana. It was like our biggest fear.
So how did you manage to protect your family from the virus since you as a frontliner who have to fight the virus? I mean, how did you meet your family knowing that you are exposed to the virus?
Well, it was actually very tough for me and my family. I actually had kind of had a camping at my own house.
Are you serious?
Of course I am. I had to set up a tent in front of my house, and luckily I have an outdoor toilet, so there was a place for me to shower at. And also my husband will cook for me, and he will send the food outside the house, and I will eat it in my tent. But of course, from time to time, I will miss my husband and my daughter. So maybe like in once in a few weeks, I will make sure that I am 100% clean, and I will stay inside for like a day or two, but usually only like a day because I have a daughter which was 1 year old. So as a mother, I would rather sleep in tent rather than taking my daughter at any risk.
Oh, I understand. Who will have wanted had anything happen to a very fragile baby? So that was a top fight that you had. I believe that your family is very proud of you. So now we will move to our last lovely guest for this session, which is Miss Shazwani. So Miss Shazwani, as a person who running a huge business, what's your reaction when for the first time you heard about this pandemic COVID-19 issue, Miss Shazwani?
Actually, to be honest, I was quite surprised when the first time I found out about this news, and I also admit that my mind was stuck for a while because I feel very very anxious and worried about my business status.
Yeah, because this just happened out of sudden, right?
Yes, indeed, and I was like, okay, am I going to bankrupt now or what?
Okay. So how do you overcome this problem? I mean, like, what's your plan in order to keep your business going during this pandemic COVID-19?
Actually, I could say that for my business, we would usually run our business on a walk-in since we run a franchise business, and we do have a lot of branches inside and outside Malaysia. But due to this pandemic COVID-19, we actually had to run the business through online, and I'm pretty sure that we've been sweating blood over finding rider to deliver our product. And for sure, not just that, we also have to create a new rules for the staff and customer about the SOPs. And we also have to provide them a hand sanitizer, glove, and face mask because food industry need to ensure adequate sanitary facilities are provided and ensure food workers thoroughly and frequently wash their hands.
Wow, I can clearly tell that all those plans are good strategies to keep the business going. So that's all for this session, and let's move to the next sessions. Oh, actually, I'm kind of interested in Miss Shazwani business journey. So why not we get started with her again? Is it again?
Sure, with pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, then. So for this session, we basically are going to talk about the impact all of your careers during this pandemic COVID-19. So let's start with our businesswoman first. Then we will continue with a student and a teacher shortly. And here we go again, Miss Shazwani. Just to feel free to share with us about the impact towards your business, Miss Shazwani.
Well, I always feel free for you, Misha Zwana. just joking, just joking. Please don't take it seriously.
Don't worry. It won't be later, and we can have a discussion back.
Okay. So back to the question. We all know that this pandemic is not a small matter. Like it involved the whole world affected economically, health and lives. So obviously, there are huge impact that has to be experienced by the whole society of the world, especially the frontliners itself. So as a business owner, I admit that I also do not shy away from facing the problem that blocked my business. And I'm pretty sure that majority of the business owners didn't have a much time to do some preparation for their business, of course. And one of the biggest impact that we had to face was facing sudden business losses. Therefore, in terms of the economy, is also badly affected, and this made me very very sad because the current situation cannot be as normal as before. Even some of our branches also had to close due to the lack of employees. Not just that, each branch and vendors is also is no longer allowed to be operate beyond 8 p.m. or 10 p.m., where previously each of our branches will normally be operated for 24 hours per day.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Ms. Shazwani. I really hope that your business will back to where it belongs. So let's just pray. Hopefully, this pandemic will end soon and we will have our normal life back.
Amin, inshallah. Thank you, Ms. Azwana.
Okay, now let's move to the next guest, Ms. Shaira. So, Ms. Shaira, as a student, what was your impact during COVID-19 pandemic?
Thanks for asking that question to me, Miss Shazwana. I really appreciate that you cared to ask me that question.
You're welcome. Ms. Shaira, I realize that not a lot of podcasters are asking students their opinion on their impact during COVID-19 pandemic, right?
Yeah, yes, true, Miss Shazwana. Thank you for being thoughtful about it. I'll get back to your question, which is what was my impact to COVID-19 based on education. It was heartbreaking knowing we can't go to physical classes anymore. And ways we study are different from before. For example, we have to do online classes. Lecturers will provide the links for the students to join the class session like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and many more. This makes it difficult for me, my fellow classmates, even my brother who is only standard 1 to actually focus because we get easily distracted by our own surroundings. Internet problems always be an issue whether it rains or not. I blame it on Telecom Malaysia because of their telecommunication service is terrible.
Yeah, agree.
I agree.
Moreover, it comes with great benefits actually, like not having to drive to campus, wasting money on utilities. It's great for me actually because I don't have to hear my family complaining every time, which is very annoying, I would say.
I believe that everyone got a different impact when the pandemic happened. And now I will continue to hear from Ms. Sherina Izzati in the teacher perspective point of view.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shazwana. Well, for me, I believe that my perspective as a teacher did not have much difference compared to the businesswoman and also the students.
Well, that's true, but I think it would be better for us to hear about your perspective too, because I mean, what you can say about your perspective regarding this matter, Miss Sharina?
Well, so technically, every individual in this country is very much affected because of the pandemic of COVID-19, right? I mean, it's not fair for me if I only mention the frontliners are only affected by this matter, right, Ms. Shazwana?
Yes, Miss Sharina, I strongly agree with the statement that you have made.
Okay, so in order to support my statement that I have stated just now, I would like to add some of my perspective regarding this matter. So basically, because of this pandemic, our teacher method as a teacher is becomes quite difficult for us to overcome, as it can cause us to have certain limitation on teaching the students. So moreover, we can see that there are increasing of percentage on the school closure that they announced by our governments in order to ensure the safety of our students and also the teachers in the school because the air environment is no longer safer than before. At the same time, the impact on the current situation also highlight the ongoing weakness of many education systems that can cause many misunderstanding in terms of the communications, which leads on